Let's continue. First, let me write here a small planning like this. And here, let's write first create car object, car class. I'm going to work with car class. And the second step, I am going to create objects. And the next step, I am going to create constructors. And then I am going to create class methods. Yes, it is methods. Yes. And now let's continue. Let's start first creating class and then create objects and so on. Okay. For creating class, it starts with class keyword, and then class name will be car, and between curly braces, yes, and I am going to write properties, and it is auto implemented property that I am going to use. And let's write public. It will be public. It is property. Properties will be public. And then string, yes. And then each car has brand information. And then let's write get and set, yes. And here also let me create again curly braces here. It's sometimes doing like that. And another property will be model. Each car has also model property. Yes, it is. If you want to apply this code, that you can press tab key. But also it is another way that you can write prop. And if you press tab key, then it will also generate the property. But it will be not int. I am going to create it that change it with string. And the property name will be model. Yes, and the property names also, it is good coding exercise practice also using Pascal case that it is property and starts with Pascal case, that the uppercase letter start with uppercase letter. Now, yes, my class is ready and I can create my object. Now let's create it. Here, if you try to create your object after class, after definition of the class, and the editor will show error. Let's try that. Car will be my type, and the object name, let's give the car1 equal new car. And yes, it is actually the relevant code that we need to write, but here you can see it shows an error, squiggly red line. If you go over on it, and then top level statement must precede namespace and type declarations, that the class definition have to be the last. And because of that, I am going to move this line of code before class definition. It is important. It is required actually in C#. But also we are going to move this class also in separate file. And we are going to connect to separate file, separate class file, and we can use it. I am going to explain also about it. Now my car1 is created. Now I can set data for car1, that the brand data, and also model. I can set the model data. It is very easy that I can set it like this. Car1, and each object has brand property and the model property dot brand. Yes, and I am going to set the data. It is like this. How we did it before actually. But here the important which object, that it is related to car1 object. And now let's write here, for example, Volvo and semicolon. It is that the setting data to car1.brand. Now let's set to another data. It is model actually. And then I can set it like this, Volvo V90, for example. And yes, it is also, this means actually setting that we set the data, we assign a value into this, the property of the object. Okay. Yes, and we can get it. We can show it on the screen. It is also like this, that how we can access it, how we can get it. It will have the get, actually means the gather. And let's car one point brand. Yes, and then plus car one point model. It is the way that the accessing the value. It means that the getting the data. Yes. Now let's run the code. Let's run the code. Now it will show the Volvo and V90. Yes, it is here. You can see, yes, and Volvo V90. It is the data that we set first, and then we get the data. This means that the setter set data, and here that we get data. It is that we use like this, that we get and set. It means that the getter and setter. Of course, that if you are going to, for example, we are going to use auto-implemented method. But if you are going to use, for example, like this, that the get method and set method, then we need to use that the get method. We need to call get method, and then we need to set the data, and we need to first, of course, we need to set data with this, that the data will set this one as a parameter, and it will be set to name. And then also that we need to call the get method. But here, yes, we can use directly like this. It is less code, and it will also important when we are going to apply, when we are going to use entity framework. Let's continue. Okay, let's create another object first, and then just a second. Okay, now it's okay. Okay, let's create first another object, and I am going to here you can see it will show the class name, not the property values. Okay, and because of that, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to comment it out. And now let's create another object if you need. Yes, as much as you can create it. Yes, this template is okay for me. Card2, it will be another object. And yeah, it is also, later we are going to get data from user, and then we are going to assign it to property, and then we are going to get the value. It will be, of course, later. Yes, and also that we can assign to another property values to properties. Card2 also has brand, and I am going to here, let's give this Toyota, and then the Card2 also has model. It is for second object, and I am going to assign to, for example, Toyota Auris. And yes, it is also same way that we can copy this line, and then we can paste it here. And also we can access here that need to be changed the object name. My second object is car2, and it has also brand and model property. And now it will show Toyota Auris. Let's run the code. And yes, it is here that the first object is car one is Volvo V90, and the second object has Toyota Auris. It is my objects, and they has the brand and model property. Let's create the method. Now this line of code we can write into method in class method, and then we can call this method, and then we can use it. Now let's create it like this. Methods is public, and it will return string, and the name of the method we can name it print, or yeah, any other name that we can give, and then it will return brand information and plus model. Yes, this will return this data to be returned. Yes, and now let's call with car one object. Also that we need to show, of course, that in console.writeLine, and then call the method car one, that the object can access the method because it's created from car class. And now I am going to call this print method. It will be like this. It is method. And yes, also here that we can call this method together with, let me copy this line, and then let's paste it here. And here that I need to change the object name, car2.print. And here, for when I call this method with car1 object, and the values that the brand and the model values will be for car1 object. And when I call this method, exactly same method with car2 object, and then it will show, it will get these brand and model information here, that the brand and the model information. Now let's run. Now twice that it will show this data twice, because one of them will be with this code, and another one will be that will access with this code. Let's see, let's run. And here you can see that Volvo V90, the first one is with this line 11, and the second one is with line 13. And here also again, that for Toyota Auris, the first data comes from that it shows with this data 18, line of 18, and another one is line 19. And yes, we can. It is also a very good way to create own methods. And let me comment it out. And now you can see if we run it, and then yes, we are going to show this data on the screen. It is class method. This is, let me write here, class method. You can create methods as much as you need. It is also later projects also that you can create your methods, and you can call with objects, and you can use it in your code.